Hello everyone and welcome to another Sortie walkthrough on Contention Cold War server. In this series I've been looking at detailed breakdowns of individual sessions that I have done, highlighting everything from start to end to try and give people a bit of an idea of what goes through my head when I'm planning a sortie, how I focus targets, how we read the campaign map, and so on. Now this one's a little bit different in that I'm highlighting a pair of sorties that actually flew in completely different planes. Mostly want to do this to highlight the benefit of being flexible where possible. Anyway, let's jump in and have a look at the planning stage. So first of all then we've got the role selection. So here as normal we decide to go for the team with the lowest number. I'm joined on this one by Judas. And so we think putting 2 extra players on the Red Coalition balances things out quite nicely. Now, looking at this distribution that we've got, our team does definitely lack cap there. At the same time, the enemy have quite a lot, so if we're trying to do the absolute optimal for our team, I'd say definitely taking cap this time would have been a good idea. But that's not what we did, mostly because we felt like taking warbirds out. I just want to highlight that at the start here, that sometimes the plane you pick isn't what is going to help your team best, isn't what the team really needs. It's about what you feel like, and I think you should never feel bad about that. This is a hobby, you should be enjoying yourself. This is not work, this is not job, no one's paying you, so do what makes you happy, do what you find fun, do what you're in the mood for. It's much better than getting burnt out. So in this case, at least initially, we decided that we were going to take out a pair of 190 Antons to see how they're faring on the Contention Cold War server now that they are actually hidden on EWR. And the next question is, well, where do we spawn? What are we going to target? Which is quite a big question on the Germany map, since the Germany map does have this really quite wide front. And so it's not a simple choice. I do look around here and decide that I'm going to pop onto the JTAC or Tactical Commander slot so that I can see where our forces are, to get an idea of where we need a little bit more help in the kind of ground attack role, which is what we're going to be doing in Anton's. Now I do notice that we have several helicopters up and operating in the south. The enemy has some cap up in the south, and so maybe don't really want to be focusing there. We're not going to be that useful, and we're going to be easy targets. Up in the north though, can't really see anything from the enemy. We have our own cap in the area, and there are no friendly helicopters operating. Even with that, kind of decided that we're going to head north. We've got loads of different targets here, but I decide that, well, let's start off going for FARP 9. The reason I pick FARP 9 is the second from the bottom little traffic light is orange. That means it's significantly damaged, so really isn't going to take much to push it over the edge. So it should be a nice, easy, quick initial target. And then we've got the natural extension from there moving on to Lübeck. Warbirds are particularly good at dealing with strongholds because they do have access to the FAC smoke system for spotting all of those targets that are scattered around. So that is our plan. Loadout for the Anton is a really straightforward choice. All I want to do is take a single 500 kilogram bomb. I really don't have a preference over the different types of 500 kilogram bombs. For the most part, they all seem to do pretty good. So I just pick the J here. I could probably have done with defueling a little bit. We don't have a huge amount to fly, but I don't find it all that important on Contention Cold War. In a warbird, you're going to be more manoeuvrable than anything out there, no matter what, and you're going to be slower than anything out there, no matter what. Judas similarly opts to take a Anton out, and with pretty much the same loadout. So this is when we jump into the actual mission proper. The flight over was fine. We saw a couple of things on the way, but nothing that really disturbed us. And here's just us approaching the FARP. You can see that they do have the big depot off to my 3 o'clock now, but I'm mostly focusing on the FARP itself. Now, see some vehicles dotted around there, spot them in the field off to the left of the FARP, and I do start getting FAC callouts of 5 targets. For now though, I'm quite happy to start heading in. Do see trucks down there, but then spot this and decide this is a tank, this is a good target. Now I've got my bomb set for a delayed explosion level drop, which is a really powerful version of the Anton's bombing here. So I drop it nicely on top of that tank. You can see dropped a tad short, but pretty much on target. Get the hit, get smoking, then I think at the time that it shacked, I was misinterpreting the white smoke as the red flame. And Judas there starts marking targets, and so he does mark that target. Now I was pretty aggressive there in just diving straight into the target, not really taking too much evasive action. But I am flying an Anton, and an Anton against machine guns does really well. It can certainly be taken down all of a sudden, but it does a pretty good job at just surviving. Now, what we start to notice here is that there are quite a lot of targets that are out and about, and importantly, quite a lot of tanks. I don't mean to start lasing here, I accidentally start lasing. It's meant to be dropping smoke, but just holding off while Judas makes his attack run here. And unfortunately there, Judas, just like me, drops a little bit short. And we decide, well, we're not going to do much against the tanks, but there are multiple soft truck targets here, so we may as well try and finish those off. Now, I really don't make a good run there. I undershot, then overshot. Do realise that this tank is very much still alive here on the ground, and so we're not in a too great situation, but so far we've not really achieved anything. Come back around for the next pass, decide that we may as well at least weaken these trucks, if nothing else. So taking fire, evade the fire a little bit, put a few rounds into the truck, that's enough to get a fire, take a few rounds myself. Once again, these are pretty small caliber rounds, and the Anton is a very tanky plane. Judas there's making a strafing run along the centre. Most of them are already dead, but he does set one on fire. I decide that, well, I can roll around, head in for another. At this point we are just keeping an eye on EWR, it's very useful to do at all times. But we are clear right now, so see another truck. Put a few rounds on it just as Judas does drop his orange smoke on it. Start taking fire from another tank. And just scan across there to see if anything's still alive. But looks like everything's pretty much dead here other than these three tanks, and unfortunately in Anton's we're really going to struggle against them. If we had been more accurate with our bombs we could have taken a couple out, but unfortunately we didn't really have that in the cards for us today. We messed up our attacks, a little bit out of practice, and those heavy main battle tanks really do require very direct hits if you're going to try and kill them with a dumb bomb. So instead we decide, well, what we may as well do, we've still got plenty of ammo, plenty of fuel, I've been hit a little but nothing too bad, we may as well go for the stronghold right now. If nothing else we can get some scouting, get some idea of what we're going to face here, maybe get lucky, take out some light targets. And see that it's not long until FAC starts popping up that have spotted targets, but I think that they're probably just the tanks behind us, so not really worried about calling those in. Just want to get a little bit closer here. See, the stronghold starts before this lake, so I am getting rather close at this point. And there we go, FAC pops up, 5 targets spotted. So start looking for that, see there's a Bofors listed there. So call that out to Judas to let him know that I'm going for the Bofors. Just so we don't do a double attack. And unfortunately here, while I'm messing around trying to get the flak fire, I do start taking AAA. And here I make a mistake. I dive in for this thing, it starts firing rapid fire. I should have pulled away as soon as I saw that it was a Vulcan. Instead, my engine gets taken out. And there we go, I go down, put a nice flaming wreck marker next to it, but unfortunately do not take it out. So then it's time for a rethink. I could certainly keep bashing my head against it, just take off and do it again, but it's very useful to be flexible when you can. And I've got plenty of modules, and so I decide that, well, we've got a lot of heavy targets out there, we've got a lot of tanks that need taking out, and we've spotted this rather dangerous AAA as well. We need something else other than just Antons here, and so I decided the Hind is pretty much perfect for this. We don't have the ability to call in artillery on the Contention Cold War server, not the FAC artillery at least, but the Hind is really good at picking out individual heavy targets, and this is going to make us actually quite a useful pair. Judas has the speed to get in and evade while marking targets, while I can come along and take things out at a distance. In terms of my loadout here, it's a pretty standard Hind loadout. I just put as many of the 80 gems as I possibly can. I'm not really sure which ones are the best. I tend to just go for the tandem heat ones, seem to work very well even against the heaviest tanks. I also decided to put rockets on, just in case I get any nice targets of opportunity that happen to crop up. Otherwise the plan is pretty much the same, go from Lubeck and hit FARP 9 initially, then circle around to go to the Lubeck stronghold. Now the other little thing that we did just before the mission is prepare a little bit in advance that we decided, well, if I'm in a helicopter we may as well have a go at capturing the FARP after we eliminate it. And could certainly do that with, say, mechanised infantry, or drop an APC if I was looking for a single crate drop. But there are 2 of us, and Warbirds can carry CTLD equipment. And so what we decide to do is Judas can take a single shulker, I can take the other half of the shulker crate, and between us we should be able to capture it. Nice thing is you don't need to land in order to drop the crates, you just need to be low enough, so Warbirds can absolutely drop crates, they just really struggle with unpacking them. So that is our plan going into this. I do take a mechanised infantry as a backup. It does cost me credits, but going to be getting quite a few credits on these kind of ground attack runs, so not really worried about that. And it does mean that we've got a backup in case Judas gets shot down. And so take off, head over and find the FARP. Head low altitude as I'm going in, then do a little bit of a pop-up here as I approach so I can begin spotting targets from range. Once again, do you see the large depot there? And quite quickly Petrovic manages to get eyes on one of the tanks. So fire off a missile towards that, just trying to keep this nice and steady here. Since we've already been over the site, I know what to expect. I know there's 3 tanks. Fortunately, his round goes and hits a tree that is in front of the tank. Didn't really mean to be switching the sides there. Just made a little bit of a mistake. Still looking for these other vehicles while I'm trying to reposition to have a better view of that tank that I just engaged. He seems very much just wanting to focus on that tank behind a truck, which is a bit annoying. I know there's another tank to the side. I think one of them has actually been destroyed in between me respawning here, but do get eyes here on a leopard. I believe this is the damaged one that I had bombed previously. Get a nice rifle off on it, nothing in the way. That time get a nice decent hit. You can see there I'm spotting the tank that was alive when we were here last, but it is very much not alive anymore. Now I do see the tank taking shots at me. A tank shell can absolutely hit a helicopter and will ruin the helicopter's day, so decide, you know what, I'm gonna go back around. We could use some resources. Our team doesn't have infinite resources here. And so the depot being right here, I know that if I can take this out, that's going to be worth 50,000 resources, which is a really good chunk. And that's pretty much perfect for what my rockets are for. So I just head over there. Need to reposition for the remaining tank anyway. Just make sure I'm nice in range. These depots are not defended by default, so I can take my time, fire some rockets in, do have the splash damage script, so I can just spread out my shots, do a quite horrendous amount of damage in a very short space of time there. And then just trying to recover here. And the depot despawns, so that means that that is our resources. Gives us a nice chunk. That's an extra about 50% compared to what we had before, which gives us a bit more breathing room, especially because we are going to be spending some of it on the shilker that we're wanting to deploy. And so it's essentially nice free resources there. I didn't want to attack that in the Anton because we only had that one bomb. But the nice thing about rockets in the Hind is they're pretty much ideal for taking out those depots. By the way, trying to reposition so I can get a decent eye on the tank here. The tank is shooting me, which nicely does highlight his location. Also drop smoke to help me even more.
Ready to fire. Launch.
And firing. I am really too close here. I do take a hit, but nothing too bad. There goes the tank. Now just rotating around in the area, seeing if there's anything else. It does take a little bit of time for the campaign to update to identify that things have been neutralized. So keeping an eye out in the air just in case anything else is alive that I've missed. Waiting for that pop-up in the top right. Getting Petrovic to search at the same time since he is really good at spotting things. Get an FAC pop up there that nothing is left in the area. Still might be something that's just out of line of sight. But there we go. We get the alert that the FARP is neutral. There we go. We've done our job. Now we need to head back around and actually capture the thing. Now I could drop my crate down directly, but it's going to be a lot easier for me to be accurate with my crate drop than it is for Judas, so I just hover low in the area, get some hovering practice while I'm at it, while Judas comes in, and we'll see him very shortly coming in from the left as he nips in soon. I believe very soon. There he is. He comes in, drops the crate low level, just keeping as low as he can, but without being so low that he'll crash into the crate. He tells me that it's dropped successfully. It's actually in my canopy, so I can't see it right now. But then after looking around a bit, spot exactly where it is, which means that I just need to get close enough for all of this to count as being in the same area as far as CTLD is concerned. Now, he's accidentally dropped it on the FARP pad itself. I don't really want the deployed shilker being on the FARP pad. I don't want it accidentally bumping into someone who's spawning. So I decided to try and put it down, just down on the side here. Go through, drop the crate. I am using voice attack to help drop the crates there. And then unpack the crate. There is our shilker, and there is the base secured. And so, yep, still 15,000 left over from what we got from the FARP. And that is a secure base and a FARP that is captured. So we do rearm, refuel, we do continue on there for a bit. Just in the interest of keeping this down to kind of 1 or 2 sorties is what I'm aiming for these videos. I'm going to stop that there. But that hopefully nicely shows how you can be useful in a Hind, how the Hind and the Anton can be very useful in a 2-ship together, or a Hind and any other warbird for that matter, and equally highlighting that it is really useful on the server to be able to be flexible. If you try something and realise that it is not working out like we did with the 2-ship of Antons, being able to switch over to something as the situation develops is really useful at making the most of your time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Will be more of these coming up in the future, so hopefully I'll catch you there for those. Till then though, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.